Obviously, there is a flip. I mean, we're used to seeing the Lakers at the top of that standings, at least last year. Now they're the 7th seed going up against the Suns, which are a 2 seed, and they're getting blown out. At least that was the story in the most recent series. I mean, they lost by 30, and they are now down 3-2 in this series. They've got to go to game 6, which is going to be in the Staples Center, and they hope to win, tie up the series and force game 7, but that is yet to be seen. Nick, I want to get where do you stand on the series? What do you think about the Lakers? Do they still have a shot to beat the Suns? Obviously, a lot is dependent on Anthony Davis. His status is questionable. But Nick, what are your thoughts on the Lakers in this series?
I don't think they stand a chance. And I know obviously counting the Lakers out, counting LeBron out might not be a spectacular idea, but I think the Suns have played arguably the best basketball in the league this year as just a team. The Jazz, of course, were the number one, so you could say that as well. But the Suns, and especially if you watched the game last night, it was just without AD, there was no competition for the Suns. It was a blowout the entirety of the game. First quarter, I think the lead was already double digits. So it's just I really don't have confidence in the Laker team without Anthony Davis healthy. Even if he plays and he's not 100%, we've seen when Anthony Davis plays out and he's not 100%, and it's nothing great. So LeBron is older. He can't really do it himself anymore. It's clear. He's still LeBron James, but he's got that wear and tear on him. And frankly, this Lakers supporting staff, Dennis Schroeder did not have a point, I believe, in the last game against the Suns.
You did not report it.
Drummond has been subpar, maybe, if you even want to give him that. And the Suns have just outplayed them. I really think the Suns, it's just about time. That team has been through so much struggle, and Chris Paul is going to bring them, of course. Devin Booker's the star, and they just have a lot of pieces. They're playing as a better team than the Lakers have. So, listen, maybe they can win Game 6 since it will be in LA, but without AD, I think it's just the exact same outcome, a blowout for the Suns, and they'll be moving on. And LeBron, I think the stat was 14-0 in first round series. I think he's going to be 14-1.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to agree with you based on what we've seen from this Laker team. And I'm going to make another comparison to the 2018 Cavs. I don't know why I am doing that so much tonight, but this is a lot like without Anthony Davis is a very similar team. I mean, no one seems to be stepping up besides LeBron, but different from 2018. This is a different LeBron. This is an injured LeBron. This is a LeBron that is 3 years older. So I don't think this time he'll be able to propel them past this round. I mean, LeBron didn't have a problem in 2018 in the first round. His problem came with the Celtics in the conference finals, but this time it's the Suns in the first round that he was going to have trouble with. And I don't think he's going to be able to carry the team like he did in 2018 past the series. And in my opinion, I don't see AD coming back. I mean, he's not going to heal in 48 hours. I don't see that happening. I mean, it's a strained groin. I mean, it's not like he bruised or like Tatum got poked in the eye and left. I mean, it's hard to see someone just turn around and have a 48-hour turnaround and be back for game 6. I just don't see that happening. And I mean, the other thing that's crazy about this Laker team is like nobody is stepping up when AD is out. I mean, Kuzma, 15 points. You said Schroeder, 0 points. Drummond had 7 points. You would think the big guy would fill that void that Anthony Davis leaves, but he did not. And I think what was even worse about guys not helping out offensively is the defense that was maybe even worse against this Suns team. I mean, they let up 66 points in the first half. And the paint, inside the paint, there was no defense. I mean, Drummond did an awful job with rim protection last game. And the Suns were not afraid of the Lakers. I mean, they're driving to the paint. They're taking, they're passing up open 3-pointers, and they're getting layups. They're getting floaters. I mean, they were relentless all night against this Laker team. And it's hard for me to see the Lakers being able to come together, even if LeBron has some heroics in this next game, that they would be able to advance in the series. I really don't see it, Nick.
No, I think the one thing I've noticed, I guess, especially watching them, is they don't have that same sort of maybe fire is the right word that they had in the bubble. They also don't have as much, I guess, championship DNA on this roster as they did on their team last year. You know, JaVale McGee, I think, as much as he is the Shaqtin' a Fool MVP, he had, 3 rings, I want to say? 2 with Golden State and then 1 with the Lakers. LeBron James, of course, is that, and Anthony Davis is a star. They were also healthy, of course, so you have to account for that. But if you look at the guys they put together on this team now, Schroeder's good, but he hasn't really shown anything besides just the fact that he can kind of really score the ball. Montrezl Harrell, good, but what does he have to show for it as well? Even Dwight Howard, a guy last year on the team, he hadn't had a ring yet, but he was a veteran. He knew he was a star. He knew what he was doing. I just don't think this team is built for a championship, especially if their main guys are going to be hurt. And then you can almost draw this back to obviously with the first year LeBron got to LA, he had a very young Lakers team, but they were just not that talented. And this Laker team, everyone thought was so stacked when they added Montrezl Harrell and Schroeder. Now Drummond too, but I personally didn't buy it. I think Drummond is too outdated for the league. I think Schroeder is very hit or miss. And honestly, same thing with Montrezl Harrell. He might be outdated, a big who really can't shoot. But the Lakers, yeah, they don't have that same fire, I think. And the Suns are just hungry. First time in 10 years, I think they've been in the playoffs. They're led by, obviously, one of the best point guards to ever do it in Chris Paul and just such a baller in Devin Booker. I mean, there's no doubting that this team clearly has the momentum and that they just, in my opinion, they want it more. So I think this series is over in 6, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think one more thing that's interesting is obviously the Lakers have struggled with injuries both this year. I mean, Anthony Davis, LeBron both missed major time throughout the year. And they had a 2-month turnaround since the bubble. I mean, that is really tough for a team to be able to gather themselves after really playing almost every day in the bubble and then coming back and trying to start a season again. I think that has to do a lot with the injuries. We saw that with Miami, see that with the Lakers, both teams that went the distance in the bubble. So I think that let's say the Lakers even win this series. I mean, what are they going to do in the semifinals for the in the West? I mean, they're going to be depleted. They're going to be absolutely gassed. I don't see them being a real threat in the West this year, or even contending to win a championship. As great as LeBron is, and I'll never doubt LeBron, but this is the first time that I will. I think I don't see the Lakers really being a threat. I think we're going to see a new champion, and we'll leave that at that.